Hello everyone. So I had to take a little sort of break from doing YouTube videos for a while, and I'll get into that, why that is, a little bit later on in the video. But what I wanted to talk about was, as I'm sure you're aware if you're kind of connected to the alternative scene or the metal scene in any way, is very recently, just last week in fact, we lost Joey Jordison, who was, if you don't know, one of the founding members and the drummer for the main part of its sort of life so far of Slipknot. And there's no getting away from the fact that if you grew up around a similar sort of time I did, you know, going through school a similar sort of time I did, Slipknot were such a massively influential band. And there's always going to be people who are kind of contrarians and don't really want to show the fact that they like bands that are so popular and almost mainstream, but Slipknot there was no escaping them. You know, if you were following that kind of music at all, you knew of Slipknot because they were just so radically different from a vast majority of what was going on in that sort of music scene at the time. And their image was obviously a very standout feature, which is part of the reason they became so popular. But I mean, Slipknot, if you're gonna, I mean, there are people now that say Slipknot have sort of lost their edge, and I kind of agree with that, but I kind of don't, because any band, any sort of group will mature over time, and Slipknot have been around for a very long time now. They're still going, and they're still just as strong as they ever were, but they kind of moved in a slightly different direction, which I guess is, you know, it's sort of when because Corey Taylor was so angry with the world and with everyone. I mean, if you look into like his backstory, especially where he grew up and where he came from, it's understandable. But I mean, as he got more successful with Slipknot, I suppose making tens of millions is going to sort of lower anyone's anger levels just a bit. But that's not what it's about. Joey Jordison was arguably one of the greatest metal drummers of all time. In my opinion anyway, at least, and many other people, because I don't play drums. I play bass. I'm a bass player. And if you don't know anything about, or if you don't know that much about sort of how music's made and how sort of musicians play together, the bass player works very closely, more closely than any sort of guitar or keyboard players or vocalists. They work very closely with the drummer. They kind of work hand in hand, and their job is to provide obviously the timing for the song, but they also kind of together provide the backbone. I mean, you can say the bass is the backbone of pretty much any sort of piece of music, and that comes from both the bass guitar and the bass drums on the drum kit, and they work much more closely than sort of other musicians within a band. And like I said, I don't play drums. I've tried to play drums in the past and I suck so bad at playing the drums, but because of that, I understand just how good, you know, a drummer is when you hear them. I mean, when you're watching a group live, it's much easier to take in the individual sections of a band. And I got to see Slipknot live once, which was fantastic. It was amazing. And Joey Jordison was just incredible. They all were, but he was just incredible, because when you see a band live, you can kind of appreciate, you can focus your attention on different parts, which you can't do when you're listening to them sort of, you know, recorded. But it gave me a massive appreciation for just how epic of a drummer Joey Jordison was, and I think his loss is going to be our loss. You know, the death of Joey Jordison will be felt throughout the whole sort of metal community. He truly was just an epic drummer, and in my opinion as well, I mean, I do like Slipknot. I always have. I liked them when I first heard them. I still like them now, and they're still great, but they did kind of lose their edge just a touch when Joey Jordison left, because his style couldn't be replicated. He was just incredible. But anyway, I said I was going to get into a little bit about why I've been gone for so long. I had to sort of I've taken a break of kind of just over 2 months or something from doing videos, and it's hot in here. But I mean, I sort of say I've moved house. I've sort of moved into a new apartment, and if you've been watching the channel for, you know, any sort of length of time, you'll probably be aware that my partner was pregnant, and we've had our baby. My son was born, so obviously that was a major sort of step. I had to take a step back from this sort of thing, because it's just, there was a lot to do. So between moving and when I moved into this apartment, I mean, sort of my recording space isn't really ready yet. My lighting isn't where I want it, and the background's obviously a bit plain, which I will change over time. So perhaps the audio's not great either. I won't really know until I come to edit this video later. But I'm gonna start getting back into doing these videos again. But there was so much to do. I mean, when we moved over into the new apartment, everything had been stripped, it had been gutted. I mean, there were no carpets. I had to get all of that in. You know, we had to do everything, move sort of everything from the ground up. And between looking after, you know, Amy and my son, and helping with all of that as best I can, and getting everything moved over, I had to take a bit of a step back from doing YouTube videos for a while. But hopefully I can now start getting back into things a bit more, get this recording area sort of set up a little bit better, and looking forward to getting, you know, some more of these videos pumped out. We are just coming out of we're on the tail end of a sort of heat wave we've had over here, and British houses aren't made with air conditioning or anything like American houses are. In fact, most of our houses, because it's generally colder over here for most of the year, all the walls are filled with insulation. You know, the houses are built to hold all the heat in, and I can't have the aircon unit on because it's really loud. I can't have the fans on when I'm recording because it's really loud, so I'm sweating a bit in here. So hopefully we'll get all of that sorted out and ready to go, ready for next time we do these videos. But anyway, I'm gonna start getting back into things. I'm gonna start recording and uploading more videos. So watch this space, check the channel. New videos will be uploaded as and when. I can't really keep to a schedule at the moment just because things are still moving. There's a lot of work to do, but I'll be getting them up regularly again. I've missed doing these, and I've missed sort of interacting with my subscribers and the people that enjoy these videos. So anyway, thanks for watching.